it's obvious they don't mean for you to work out of one of these. Look. Everybody shovels in a truck, or they used to back. Wheelbarrow loads there. Yep. Probably overnight, but that's all right. Nah, we got it locked in the shop. All right, appreciate it. See you.
Oh gosh, he said, I don't know. He's really mad. He said, I'm sorry, I don't want to tell you, but they never left the truck during Hayesville on the truck, and they never brought him down here. I'm sorry. No, it's all right. This has been that kind of day.
found myself with a surplus of carrots. I had already had some, and then a friend shared some with me, so then I had a lot, so I was trying to think of something to do with them. So part of what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a simple ferment. So I've chopped the carrots up. Now I'm working on the garlic. This is just a ferment that I'll keep in the refrigerator. I won't worry about canning it or anything. This is garlic, our last year's garlic that we harvested. You can see some of it's beginning to sprout on us, but most of it's still okay. But it's just be a simple, I like to do these simple ferments sometimes, especially with cucumbers. That's my favorite to do, but other things work too. But then just do it simply and put it, after the ferment's finished to your liking, after letting it sit on the counter for a few days, then just put it in the refrigerator and enjoy it as you can, and you don't have to worry about canning it or anything like that. And it's such a small amount that it doesn't last too long, so it doesn't take up too much room in your fridge. So that's what I'm doing today. You can make your ferment in a mason jar, in a quart jar, in even a pint if you're only doing a small amount. I like to use this big jar. This is a jar that Granny and Pap, years ago when I was a little girl, we never had cows, but there was a family who went to our church who had cows, and we would buy milk from them, and every week we would trade out these big jars full of milk. We would take them back, the empty ones, then they would bring us the ones full of milk the next Sunday. So after I started canning and fermenting and putting up stuff, I asked Granny if I could have the jars, so she'd give them to me, because of course she didn't use them anymore for that. So in this ferment I'm doing carrots and garlic. You can see that. Then as far as the spices that you put in, it's really kind of up to you. I just use the same brine that I would in the summer for my cucumbers. So I've got a few bay leaves. I'll put those in there. I've got some mustard seed. I've got about 4 tablespoons for this big jar of mustard seed. I've got about 40 peppercorns down under there. You can see, there they go. And then I've got about 4 tablespoons of dill seed too. I don't have any fresh dill, which is what I would use in the summer, of course. So I'm going to put that in. But it's really up to you, and you really don't even have to put any of it if you don't want to. Then I've got 4 cups of water with 1 tablespoon of salt dissolved in it. I may have to have more water. That may not be enough to fill this. We'll see. You don't want to ever use iodized salt. You can use pickling salt. You can use kosher salt, just not the iodized. And we're just going to pour it in. So as you can see, it only come about halfway up, so I'm going to make some more brine. So once you have your brine in the jar, you want to make sure that all your stuff that you're fermenting stays below that brine. If you're doing it in a mason jar, they sell little weights that you can buy especially for that. If I was using a crock, sometimes I use an overturned saucer that'll fit. Of course, it's got a larger diameter than this, that'll fit in there, and then I put like a little canning jar full of water on top of it to weight it down. Something like this, just filled with water, a little jar. Another easy trick to use, and that's what I'm going to use today, is I just filled a clean Ziploc bag with water, and I'm just going to set it in there on top, and it kind of pushes everything down below like it's supposed to. Now I'm going to set this on my counter, and I'm going to pay attention to it every day and just notice it and make sure everything's going like it should. It's totally normal for it to turn cloudy, totally normal for there maybe to be a little bit of scum on top of this bag and around the edges. If it goes completely bad, you will know it. It will just be horrid. It'll be terrible. It may even have bugs in it. It'll be horrible. You'll know if it goes bad. Then you want to put a lid on it. Some people like to put like a coffee filter and then put a rubber band around it, and that way it can still breathe. I've seen people do that. The way I learned how to do it was I just put my lid where there's still air that can get through, but that mostly keeps any bugs that might be flying around. Of course, that's not a concern in the winter. I don't have bugs in the winter. flies or gnats or anything. So I just leave a little hole where it can breathe, and then I just keep my eye on it. And as I said, it'll take about 7 days, or depending on the warmth and the of your house, your kitchen, wherever you store it, just depending on your environment, it may take longer. But you can always just take a little bite and taste it and think, that's really good. I think this is done fermenting. Or you can think, no, I think I'm going to leave it another day or two. And you just kind of keep watch on it. And then when it does get to the fermented stage that you like, store it. Then you can seal it up. Take the bag out and tighten this up and put it in the refrigerator, and it will continue to ferment slowly as you eat it, and then you can just, enjoy until it's gone. So once I set the pickles over on the counter, I'm just going to cover them gently with a towel, making sure, of course, that my lid's open there. This just kind of keeps them in the dark place. I don't really have a dark place. So then I'll check on them in a few days.